Imagine the world today without this moment. Imagine the world today without this moment. Imagine the world today without this moment.
We children are doing this to wake the adults up.
Without this movement. So, what connects these moments, these movements, these transformations?
Something that is essential to all our lives.
And essential to our future.
A thriving civic space.
Civic space is the bedrock of an open and democratic society.
A space to hold leaders, institutions, and the private sector accountable.
And today, with rising inequality around the world,
we know that meaningful civic engagement is an antidote to inequality
and a way to advance equity.
But we hope to achieve equal rights.
Throughout history, the only way we've expanded rights in both democracies and beyond democracies is through collective action.
Civic space is essentially about people power.
The first multilateral agreement to recognize and guarantee the rights of human rights defenders.
It's the public square where people come together, agitate, protest, and they come up with new ideas for expanding democracy and participation.
That is the power that community-based movements are bringing. They are asking us the harder questions, both about the sustainability of our planet, but also about the meaning of labor, the meaning of care, the meaning of bodies. And those are fundamental questions.
En espacios democráticos, todas y todos tenemos derecho de hacernos escuchar y de aportar en la construcción de nuestros países.
Civil society is a key actor for bringing problematics and the struggles of the frontline communities on the local levels to the national arena, to make sure that the policies and the laws that are adopted by our governments really respond to the needs of those in the front lines, but also to make sure that our governments are accountable for their actions.
States have a duty to uphold freedoms and protect the rights of citizens to peaceful assembly, to association, and the freedom of expression.
We are all together, no to all forms of discrimination.
La libertad de expresión es el derecho base que nos hace ejercer el oficio del periodismo, exigiendo mayor transparencia, trabajando para fortalecer los procesos de petición de información. El periodismo está haciendo un trabajo para construir democracia.
Our societies, our democracies require what we do even more today than ever.
Democracy only works when people participate and are informed.
Evidence from the Civicus Monitor points to the fact that nearly 9 out of 10 people currently live in contexts where their civic freedoms are under attack.
The most affected categories of people by the shrinking civic space are journalists, activists, artists, and political actors. And this is fundamentally wrong.
Democracy cannot thrive without a vibrant civic space. Then what we have is tyranny dressed up as democracy.
Civic space is created. It's not a thing. And we all shape civic space.
Our lives are interconnected, and we owe it to each other to stand together to build more voice, power, and democracy.
Our collective futures depend on it.
I urge those in power to recognize and protect the role of civil society.
It is fundamental that the governments guarantee a legal framework for the work of civil organizations.
Governments, public institutions, policymakers, donors, and businesses must condemn restrictions on the right to peaceful assembly and the detention of peaceful protesters, censorship and limitations on the access to information, and investigate attacks on activists and media persons.
It is in the interests of every single government that it be responsive to its citizens. The power and legitimacy of government comes from the people. And when governments deliver in response to the demands of the people, their legitimacy is strong and real. And that's democracy.